So the school that we went to had been going there since I was old enough to go to school. Lived at the original house in the suburbs, same one that somewhere around there was allegedly a Native American burial ground, and it was nearby. All the kids were from the neighborhood. I guess we used to, no, I remember carpooling. I don't know why we couldn't walk. Yeah, later walking. I remember later walking, but I remember both carpooling and walking. So it was just a little middle class kind of a deal, you know. Maybe some of the kids were rich. They were, yeah. I can think of the big business owners. Some of them's children went there, but most of us were just middle class, ordinary folks. And I felt very comfortable at that school. I remember some incidences that some girl had a crush on me and was very aggressive, and she was real pretty, but I mean, raised by conservative parents, I did not know the slightest thing about the difference of the advantages of having a girlfriend and how much fun it could be or whatever, because I just didn't, that's just the way it is. Had I known, something might have happened. But we were prepubescent. Anyway, I remember we would go play after school with a kid. I can use people's first name. Well, her name was Cheryl. Okay, and then there was my friend Clay, and me and one of my brothers would go play football with him in his front yard. It's just something we did a couple times. He had a friend that lived either next door or the next house down, and his name was Jimmy. And kind of a tall kid, wore glasses. And I guess he must have got jealous of Clay and myself's friendship, and we got into a fight one day. And so I know he threw me on the ground, and I knew that I punched him. And I think we went to principal, and not much else was spoken about it. It was one of those things. Another time I got in a scuffle. I think we were just throwing the kickball at each other. This guy would later become a good friend, Scott. And they would be about 20 boys picking on two boys that were overweight. Both of them's name was Alan. And the biggest instigator of this bullying was a little kid named Eddie, but he was tough. And he was just evil. And I always felt sorry for the two Allens. And there was another little kid that got picked on a little bit, not quite as badly. And his name was Jules. And this brings up a really, really strange story. And little kid's imagination, yeah, but I mean, I saw this with my own eyes. Jules he was a nice little kid. He wasn't all that popular, but he had a birthday party and invited me, and there was a girl named Marcy and Clay and a handful of other kids. We did the usual thing that you do at little kids' birthday parties. They spin you around and tell you go play pin the tail on the donkey. Well, isn't that a great idea? Right after you've eaten a bunch of delicious hot dogs. Okay, so say about halfway through the birthday party, Clay vomited 5 hot dogs, and they were all intact. Now, how strange is that? That is very strange. That's my somewhat gross, somewhat funny story. If you think that's funny, I just think it was bizarre. All right, so there's another story.